Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of Minority Real Estate Millionaires. Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special treat for you today. We're going to be talking about the 5 ways you get paid in real estate. 5 ways you get paid. That's going to be the foundation series, and then we're also going to be talking about the advanced series. Y'all ready for that? Going to be talking about wholesaling. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Let's make sure you get the ground rules. If this is your first time, one thing I need you to do for me is to make sure that you keep everybody keep your camera and your phone on mute for a while. Let me talk for a little bit. Let me get through my little lesson. All right, let me do what I got to do. And then I'm going to let you guys chime in a little bit. Let's see here. So I got to start off. Last year, every time I started off with a Rayism. And I need you to turn that camera off, Calvin. Everybody, I started off with a little Rayism, and we found out everybody was kind of copycatting me a little bit. We brought Johnny on, and we had some Johnny-isms. We brought Jesse on. He came up with his little Jesse-isms, and then James came on. He had his James-isms. Well, I got to step this thing up a little bit. You guys, somebody is not muted. Need to make sure you're on mute. Calvin Edwards. I'm gonna need you to mute. All right, here we go. So I want you guys to think about now. What I'm gonna start doing today is I'm gonna do a little bit something different, right? And so everybody's doing my little Rayism, so I'm gonna step up the game here a little bit, and we're gonna do what I call a little sermonette. And so a sermonette is nothing more than a little 4 to 5 minute sermon, short. Most preachers, they can't preach real short. But about 5 minutes, I'm going to tell you a story from the Bible. So every week, I'm going to choose an individual in the Bible, maybe an old school or maybe a new school. I don't really know. But today, I want to make this one. I want to title it "Coming Back Home." Listen up. So there was a story of this guy, 2 brothers. The Bible says that the young man one day decided that he wanted all his goods. He was going to go out and he's going to be able to do it without his father. And so the father said, all right, go ahead, bro. Do what you do. The young man took his money and his bag and he went out, and the Bible says that he went out there and he just had him a good time, squandering all his daddy's money, living recklessly, spent everything he had. All but one day, they said that the famine arose across the country. When the famine kick in, baby, things get a little bit tight. Well, this guy, this son, he had spent all his money. So he even got so bad that it went out. The Bible says that he was out in the fields eating pig stuff. I mean, it got really bad. The pig paws, and nobody would give him anything. He couldn't get anything. He was down and out on his luck. But the Bible says, over in verse 17, he says that he came to himself. Oh, sometimes somebody help me now. You got to come to yourself. He started thinking about how good he had it over in his father's house. He had plenty enough bread, never went hungry. He said, I got to do something. I'm in a bad way. I need to go back home. And I'm going to practice what I'm going to tell my father. Father, I have sinned against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. I'm no longer worthy. Just make me like one of your hired hands. And he rose. Oh, you got to get on your feet and go back. But he'll be there waiting on you. Because the Bible says that when he was a long ways off, the father saw him. That means the father had been looking for him. Oh, yes, he had. Since the day he left, he had not stopped looking for this boy. And he arose, and his father saw him and had compassion on him and ran and hugged and kissed him. My son, so glad that you are home. And the son started giving his excuses. Father, I'm not worthy to be your son. Would you just make me one of you? I said, oh, no. We're not doing that. Oh, no, I'm glad you're home, baby. I want you to bring the fatted calf. I want you to bring the best robe. I want you to bring my signet ring, and I want you to put it on him. For my son who was dead, oh, he's alive again. He was lost. Now he's found. The Bible says they begin to celebrate. Don't you know there's much joy in heaven when just one sinner comes to the Lord than the 99 that's already saved, baby. God's calling you back home. Would you come back home? He's sitting there with open hands, waiting on you. Oh, he's good today. Sermonette, baby, the sermonette. Let's go. Let's get into this thing, baby. Oh, I love y'all today. Y'all ready to learn some rules about how to do the real estate game? Here we go, baby. So let's do this. Pulled up the wrong one. I'm sorry. Here we go. Mr. Ray, get it right. Hold on. Give me another share here. Hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. Mr. Ray, what are you doing? Doing it right here. 5 ways we get paid. I think we're in the right place now. All right, so we did our little sermonette. Let's get down to business now. Let's get down to business. So I got a few housekeeping deals I need to cover today before we get started in our session. So today we're going to be covering the foundations and the advanced series at the same time, right? We're going to do both of these series in a matter of 8 weeks, but we're going to do them at the same time. And Mr. Ray, that's a lot of stuff. How you going to do that at the same time? I'm glad you asked. As students, you're going to be required to view the videos prior to attending the Monday session meeting. That means you got to go watch the video and see what I'm talking about, because I ain't going to go through everything. I just want to answer your questions that you might have, right? And so those are all out on my YouTube, and I'll take you out there later and show you where everything is. But I need you to watch those prior to coming to the Zoom meeting, okay? All videos are out there. Mr. Ray's Real Estate. You can find me out there. And so next week, we're going to be doing these two. It's going to be how do you set your real estate goal. That's going to be the foundation series. And the advanced series is going to be the how to flip real estate. So next week, I want you to go, sometime during next week, I want you to go and look at both of these videos, and I want you to be prepared to discuss them as you should be ready to discuss the ones that I sent you today. Another housekeeping deal. We're growing a little bit, and so just like my tenants, I'm gonna have to put you guys on the same row here. My office hours are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. No exception. Unless you got an emergency, I'm gonna need you. Could you try again? I'm gonna need you not to contact me outside those hours. Unless it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, I need you to contact me. But my baby said we need some downtime, some quiet time. And by golly, you guys are blowing me up anytime you want to, because that's what I told you to do. but I need you to limit it now between 8 to 5 if you can. Just a little housekeeping, baby. You know I love you. You know I love you. So let's keep going on here. So, yeah, we got to drop a little Rayism here on you real quick, right? A person who doesn't read has no advantage over a person who can't read. Think about that. You can read and don't, and this guy over here can't even read, and you know better off than he is. Think about that. So I need you to be some readers up in this house. The only way you're going to learn this game is you got to read, baby. The only way you're going to understand some things is you got to read. That's why we're going to be having the book of the month. All right? Every month. I can't make changes to your content. Every month, we're going to be. Wow. Every month, we're going to be doing a book. And I want you to invest in your knowledge and your understandings. These are the books that have impacted me. And so I'm going to be sharing with you these books that have impacted me. And so if you don't have the funds to buy these books, you let me know. Mr. Ray, I don't have the 10 to 15 to $20 to buy these types of books. I need you to help. You just let me know. I'll get them for you. So this month we're reading The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller. So if you don't have that, or if you've already read it, pick another book on here and read that. But during the year, we're going to be reading all this books, because remember what I just said. He who knows how to read and doesn't is no better than the guy that can't read. I need you to be a reader, baby. So what's the agenda today? So if you watch the video, right, you know the 5 ways that we get paid. All right. And so, you know, when you invest in stocks and bonds, there's two ways you get paid there, right? You want to buy the stock low, you want it to go high, and then you want to sell it. You get that appreciation, that's capital gains, you get that. Dividends is another. Companies that's been around a long time, they pay dividends. If you own bonds, you get interest monthly or quarterly. Gold and silver, same thing. It goes up and down. You buy it right, you make money. You buy it wrong, you lose money. But real estate, baby, you're talking about my favorite thing now. Real estate, you get paid 5 ways. Okay? And so just quickly, anybody got any questions on this? I'm not going to go through this whole slide, because the goal here is there's negative depreciation. That's when you buy stuff that depreciates that you can't write off. I call that negative depreciation. When you buy income producing assets that the IRS allows you to deduct that depreciation, I call that positive depreciation. Any questions on this slide? So when we talk about leverage, leverage is one of the most powerful tools that's been given to any individual that is investing. And real estate is really only one of those, one of the few assets that banks will give you money against it, right? And anytime you can use under other people's money, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Any question on leverage? OPM, baby. It's all right to use it, because it can make you rich at the end of the day, but you got to use it wisely. 5 ways you get paid. We're going through them today, baby. Property appreciation, you get the loan pay down, you get increase in equity, tax benefits, and there's net cash flow. So we got 2 sessions to get through today. So I'm assuming you've already watched these. I ain't gonna spend a lot of time on them. But if you got any questions, you guys chat it up in the chat room a little bit, and hopefully you can ask each other questions. All right, let's get this party going. First one is property appreciation. This is pretty much straightforward. If you got an asset, as you hold that asset, it goes up in market value, right? You bought the asset, and January 1 is $100,000. That's what the average, the after repair value was, the market value, the price at which that property was sell for. And then 1 year later, it increased 10,000. You have a $10,000 increase in your equity. So that property, this particular property, appreciated 10%. That's the first way you get paid. Any questions? All right. Property appreciation, that's a good thing. The key to property appreciation is you got to buy it right, baby. If you buy in a bad area and it don't appreciate, you ain't gonna get the benefit of that. All right. So, values are not guaranteed to go up every year. They can go up and down based on what the properties around them are selling for, right? And so on the average, you can see properties go up 1 to 5% in a given year. As property values increase, guess what? Property taxes increase also. So as the value of that property goes up, tax man always gonna get his, right? He wants his money. So let's talk about the next one. I love this one. I love my tenants, baby. Thank you, tenants, because you are actually paying down my loan for me. Oh, yes, you are. I got this loan over there, and you paying it every month with the rent. All right. So that's another way as a real estate investor, you get paid. Somebody pays your mortgage for you. I just talked about leverage. That's what leverage is. You use leverage, you use the bank's money, and then you go tell the tenant to pay it for you. That's a great deal, baby. Who does that? Only real estate. This is the best game in town, baby. You didn't know. You came to the right place, but I'm going to tell you 5 ways to get paid. But I got to move on to the third way, and that is equity increase. As you paying down, not you, but your tenant paying down that loan, guess what? As that loan value goes down, the difference between what the house is worth and what you owe on it, that's that equity, baby. As they keep paying that down, look at there. Look at there. You had this $100,000 house, had an $80,000 loan, you got $20,000 in equity. And as that is paid down, that equity continues to increase. On and on, baby. The third way you get paid is equity increase. Here's just a little example of on the left side, you see the debt is going down, right? As the equity is going up. That's how it works, baby. That's how it works. As the debt decreases, the equity increases. Oh, help me, somebody. I think I feel him up in here saying he got paid another way. Oh, but we got to go on to the next. The tax benefits. Oh, I love not to pay taxes. Now, I have an affinity with taxes. I think they tax me way too much, but neither that be, you must pay your taxes. Right? You got to pay your tax. They have this thing called tax evasion. You do that, you go to jail, baby. Oh, don't do that. Don't evade taxes. Huh? You pay what you want to pay, the least amount that you can, but you want to pay them. But let's get into this thing. What's the tax benefit? The IRS, I love this one right here. The IRS allows you to depreciate an asset, especially real estate, over time for 27.5 years. So whatever you pay for that property, for instance, you paid $100,000 for that property. You get to divide that by 27 years, and you get to write off $3,600 the first year on your tax. That comes off your adjusted gross income. So if you had $10,000 as adjusted gross income, this $3,600 will be taken off of that, and you won't be taxed on that. That's beautiful, baby. That's reducing your adjusted gross income. The more you reduce the income you're showing on your that lower your taxes, baby. That's how that works. The benefits, all the benefits of real estate are real, baby. Let's go and let's look at this thing a little bit more. So I talked about depreciation. So let's assume this is a $100,000 property that I purchased. If you work with me, you know that we use the 1% rule. You purchase a property for $100, you should at least get $1,000 in rent for that property. Okay, assuming that. So let's assume that the principal and interest, 619, taxes 60, insurance, so forth and so forth. These are all the yearly things that you're going to be reporting on your taxes, right? And so you had $1,000 a month. You automatically get to take off. Remember I said you get to depreciate that. The government's going to give you a credit. $3,000, you write off your interest, you write off your taxes, write off your insurance, any maintenance expense that you have. So you have a total deduction against that $12,000 income. Your taxable income is only $1,500, baby. You say, dang, I ain't making no money. Oh, baby, you making money. Because that $3,700 right there was not real money. Oh, it was paper money. So in actuality, your income was $5,200. I love the way the government lets me play the game right there. Anybody got any questions? Y'all might have some questions on that one. Let me slow down.
Hey, Mr. Ray, this is Darren Lampkin. My question is, so essentially the depreciation lowers your tax burden as well for the ones
Absolutely.
that still have mortgages on their houses.
I'm sorry, say again, Darren.
So I understand the benefit of buying houses when the house is paid off. However, when the house isn't paid off, there's still a mortgage. So the depreciation just helps with the tax burden that you typically have to pay.
Yeah, the depreciation has nothing to do with that mortgage. Depreciation only has to do with how much you pay for that house. The government, if you paid $100,000 for that house, the government is going to allow you to deduct as a credit towards your adjusted gross income the amount that 1/12 of that, right? Excuse me, not 1/12, divided by. Boy, you got me confused right here now. I got to back up and say again. If you bought this, for instance, my example right here, $100,000 house, you divide that, they let you depreciate it over 27 years. So they give you 1/27th of that every year as a credit on your taxes. Has nothing to do whether you have a loan on it or not. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes absolute sense. Okay.
So you're going
Thank
to
you.
get that credit whether you got a loan on it or not.
Oh, okay. I just thought it changed under this presidency.
No,
But okay.
what they do is when you get ready to sell the house, they do what they call a recapture. So every year that you own that house, that you took advantage of that depreciation, they're going to add that back in when you sell the house, and they're going to and you know they giving it to you now, but they say if you ever sell it, we're going to need that back. So they're going to get it back at the end, one way or the other. Any other questions? Did that answer you, Darren?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
What else? Anybody got any other questions? Still got time.
This is Adeline. I have an appreciation question.
Okay.
And I think it's also covered in that book that you mentioned for this month. They talk about how a lot of kind of increase in appreciation has to do with buying the property, like buying the right property, starting from a place of basically already having some value in it when you purchase it.
Right.
So how do you do that type of analysis when you're like looking to buy something? How do you know if, hey, this is a property that's going to appreciate well, other than the basics, like, you know, it's in a neighborhood that's popular and it has transportation and that kind of stuff. But what other kind of like market analysis do we do to kind of figure out if something might be of value already?
When we talk about it, and we'll be teaching you this, Adeline, how to figure out what the after repair value, which is basically the appraised value or the market value, what somebody's willing to pay for that property. But the crux to answer your question is we don't know which markets, which areas are going to appreciate. The only thing we can do is look historically and say in the past, this area has grown. Like I live here in Northwest Oklahoma City. We know this area is growing. You're out by certain shopping centers, you buy schools, you buy new businesses or new companies that's coming to town. All those things affect the value of the properties around it. Now, same thing can happen on the other side. If you know the values are going down, there's a lot of renters in the area. I mean, there's a lot of different things that go into that. And so for me, I've never had property value go down. I have them stay the same for many years. So again, it's not an exact science. You do the best you can to try to pick areas that looks like they're growing. And there's all kinds of studies and things you can look at, but mostly just know your area, know what areas are hot, and then know that that's the area you should be buying in. You should be okay. Next question. All right. Let's go to, okay, so we was on number 4. Now we got one more. One more. Yeah, go ahead.
My apologies. My speaker was off.
You're
Really
right.
quickly. So, and you don't have to go back to it, but with equity increase, it kind of almost falls into the same category with property appreciation. Now, granted, I know property appreciation is more of if I owned it outright, but with equity increase, the lower the loan and say property appreciation does, of course, grow, then that kind of runs into that same category and it doubles up in money initially, correct?
Absolutely, because you got it going, you got the value going up, and it's just getting that equity is getting bigger and bigger as that appreciation goes up and as that loan gets paid down. Exactly.
Got you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Boy, real estate is the only game in town I know that does that. Long-term buy and hold real estate, baby, will make you a millionaire. I promise you that. All right, let's go. Let's keep going here. We got to go to, let's go to the next one. We talked about, okay, so we were on tax benefits. So all these things right here, you get to write off dollar for dollar on your taxes. Everything on this list, you get to write it off. Everything on this list, not some of it, everything, all of it. Put it down in there. That's why a lot of times when it looks like that you're not making money, you really are making money. Brittany, you got a question? I can't hear you. Do you want to ask a question, Brittany? Oh, or you just, all right. Well, turn your video off. All right, so who else got any other questions on this?
Ray, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was thinking about, you just stated earlier about say the $3,700 on the $100,000 home, you get a chance to depreciate, the government allows you to depreciate $3,700 based on, I guess up to so many years.
Well,
For an
it's
example.
7 years max.
Okay.
You take
So
whatever you pay for that property divided by 27 years, that's what you get every year.
All right, in your example here, you buy a $100,000 home. You can take off $3,700 a year up to the 27 year.
Mhm.
So after 10 years, you sell the home for $175,000.
Right.
Did I hear you say earlier that the government's going to want about $3,700, $37,000 back because they gave you depreciation of
Yeah,
$3,700?
you got to add that back into your base. So they're giving it to you as a write-off, but when you get ready to sell it, because they don't want you to sell it, they want to encourage you to keep it. So if you sell it, they say, okay, well, give us our money back.
All right, so if I sell the home for $175,000, then out of my earnings, and I clear 175, then I've got to pay the government 37,000 back.
No, what you got to do is you got to add that to your basis. Let's say the home was $100,000. That
Yeah.
3,700 times 10, which would be $37,000, goes back to the base of that property, right? And that's what the base is at. And so if you sell it, so you got 137,000 is your base now. You sold it for 175. The difference is what you get to keep, that 40,000.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Again, you got to get an accountant to get the right basis right. They got to set the right basis when you sell that property, which is different when you sell your personal home. When you sell your personal home, you don't get to write off depreciation, so it never comes into play. You just get the difference between what you bought and sold the property for. Any more questions? We're doing good, but I want to answer all your questions. All right,
I've got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Where does that 27-year factor come into? And is that just in the state of Oklahoma or is that universal?
That's a federal law, and it's based on the category of the asset. And so houses are 27 years. They have like 7 years for heating and air units, any capital expense, you get to depreciate that. And now they got this acceleration depreciation. So it's a big deal because you basically, again, if you make capital expenses, you can depreciate it, right? And you can take advantage of those credits, which will reduce the amount of money that you owe the government. Now, you say, well, what about if I sell the house, if I put in a heat and air unit and I depreciated it, right? Well, only the house itself, you got to give it back. If any other items, you don't have to give that depreciation back. But if you sell the house, they want it back on the house. Hope that makes sense. Again, I'm not a CPA, but I'm telling you, this is good as it get. Good as apple pie, baby.
Thank you.
Welcome. Man, I think y'all like this subject right here. Keep on. I'll go as long as you guys want. Any more questions on depreciation? It's a big deal, baby. It's a big deal. One of the
Ray,
yeah.
Is it wise to take out a second mortgage on your own personal home to buy another home?
It just depends. We'd have to have a conversation because in some cases it's good, in some cases it's not.
All right.
Yeah, well, that's another subject.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other questions? All right, let's keep moving then. You can always still chat it up and we'll catch this. So all these things you get to write off, right? Everything, dollar for dollar, baby. You don't get 1%, 2%. No, you get to write all that off. All right. And so when you look at the net cash flows here on this particular property, assuming that the mortgage payment was $573 and the taxes, insurance, et cetera, was this, the net cash flow on this particular property would have been $186 a month, which is a nice cash flow. I like to get around $200 a month net cash flow. Again, with all the tax benefits, I'm getting paid 5 other different ways, so it's all good, baby. So let's look at this property in 1 year, that $100,000 property. So we paid down, we're going to assume it appreciated 1%. We paid down the loan $2,900. We got the depreciation credit for $3,700. We got the equity increase of $1,900. We got the cash flow net increase in my net worth just on that house alone was $11,000. Any questions? That's how millionaires are made, baby. Buying
How do
whole.
you run the
Yes.
How do you run the numbers to come up with all of this? I mean, I see it, but I'm just saying, whenever you buy your own rental property, you know what I'm saying, what is the breakdown so you can really see the ins and outs of everything that you got set up here?
How do I run the numbers?
Yeah, pertaining to the depreciation and so on and so forth.
Yeah, the
That'll
depreciation
work.
is just divided by 27. Whatever you pay for the house, that's going to be your depreciation every year. Divide that by 27.5.
Oh, okay, I got it. Well, I'll just hold tight so we can learn how all this is processed.
Yeah. What else? All right, we gotta get questions, then we're gonna go on to the next session. We're gonna go to advanced, but let's make sure I got all the questions answered on the 5 ways you get paid. Got anything going on in the chat room? All right, y'all quiet out there. That's all good. We'll keep moving then. We will keep moving here. Now, some of you all, if you were in the wholesale meeting this past Thursday, you can skip this next session because I'm just going back through the wholesale again, right? So I took you through this on Thursday. If you don't want to hang around for this, feel free to just step away because I'm gonna be going into it the same thing. So if you want to stay around, you're welcome to stay. If not, then we'll be going. Oh, I need to just stop this for 1 second. Hold on, y'all. All right, how to wholesale property. Here we go. This is what we're doing on Thursdays, baby. We're taking it to the platinum level. So, but I want to give you guys a heads up on what is wholesaling. Okay. So you already supposedly saw the video, so I don't have to go through everything with you. So we're going to talk about what is wholesaling, what's the process, the pros and cons, how to be successful, maximum allowable offer, and then some of my thoughts about wholesaling. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm just your coach, your mentor, your teacher, your motivator, your real estate investor extraordinaire, baby. I'm all of that. But don't go out there and tell them, Mr. Ray. Mr. Ray gave me some legal advice. He gave me some. No, he didn't. He just gave you his opinion. Buyer beware, baby. Buyer beware. Oh, you don't know this, but circumstances don't make the man. It's not what happens to the man. It simply reveals who he is. So it's not what happens to you, baby. It's how you respond to what's happening to you. So don't tell me, oh, they tricked me. No, they didn't trick you. Well, as a man thinketh, so he is. Come on, somebody. Definition of wholesaling. Read that and let me know if you got any questions. Basically, as a wholesaler, you are buying or contracting the interest in a property that you're going to sell to somebody else for a profit. That's pretty much what wholesaling is. I'm trying to buy it wholesale, baby. I'm trying to be the middleman, take a little bit off of the middle, and I'm trying to sell it to an end buyer. That's the definition. So is it legal? Some people say it's legal. Some people say it's not. So those who say it's illegal say wholesaler is acting as a broker, and as a broker, you got to have a license. That's what they say. And so you're a broker, baby. Now, and then there's others that say, because people are doing this all over the country, I'm simply signing a contract and assigning the contract to somebody else. I'm selling my interest in the property. I don't own the property. I'm not selling you the property. I'm just making a little cut off of it. I got interest because I have a contract. Contract says I have a right to buy this, but I also have a right to sell it to somebody else. So in this case, we believe wholesaling is legal. But there are some states, again, Mr. Ray did not tell you go out there and be wholesaling without a license. I said there's some people that say it's okay, and so we do it. Any questions on the legality?
Quick question.
Yeah.
How does the wholesaler, let's see, I was going to say, how does the wholesaler take a contract out on the house to buy it and then decide to sell it to someone else when he actually hadn't purchased it?
Yeah, because he has interest in it. He has a contract that says he can either buy it or he can sell it to somebody else. That's what
Okay.
There's an assignment language in there that says I can assign this to somebody else.
Okay. Okay. That's better. That's better understood. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What else? All right, keep moving, baby. What are some of the benefits of wholesaling, Mr. Ray? Well, you don't really need any money to get started in this game, baby. All you got to do is be a hustler, get out there, knock on some doors, talk to some people that, properties that might be in distress. You get that property under contract, you get it, the contract so that it's filled out property that you can assign it to somebody else in the next 30 days. Go find somebody else to buy that property. There you go, baby. You don't need no money to do that. You need ingenuity. You need to know what you're doing, right? You're simply the middleman in the transaction. It can be very, very lucrative, baby. If you get out there and hustle in this game, there's a lot of money to be made. The difference between wholesaling and buy and hold is the wholesaler got to keep doing deals. The buy and hold guy, he buy them and hold them, baby. He can sit back and he can milk them golden eggs, right? And so you got to have a combination of both. I do like it, though. I encourage my young people to get into wholesaling first, make your money in wholesaling, and then go over here and invest it in rental property, buy and hold, and get paid 5 ways. I just showed you how you get paid 5 ways. You only get paid one way, wholesaling, baby. You taking a little bit of that margin out of that property, and you get it one time. I get 5,000, I get 10,000. Now over there on the buy and hold, baby, But I'm telling you, wholesaling is a great way to make a lot of money. And we're showing you that on Thursdays. If you're in the platinum group, baby, you gotta be platinum to get over there, baby. We're not letting everybody come over there. We're now training them in the premier, but we're gonna take a group of them up to the platinum, and we're gonna take it to the next level. Some of the benefits. What's some of the good characteristics of a good wholesaler? Oh, you got to be able to find some deals. Yes, sir. You got to be very good at estimating repair. You got to be good at estimating costs, rents. What's the good math for a flip, for a rental? You got to be motivated to go out and talk to people. You got to be very good at negotiating, but not take advantage of people. Questions on that slide? Pros and cons. So one of the pros in being able to earn a lot of money real fast, right? You also get an opportunity to learn about the industry, and then and this is good for those that have limited cash or credit, right? You're just getting in the game. Mr. Ray, I need to make some money. How can I make some money? Figure out how to do this wholesaling. You can make some money. Some of the cons, it's hard finding these properties. It's like searching for needles in a haystack. You gotta do a lot of calling. You gotta do put a lot of letters out there. You gotta talk to people, and then the income can be unpredictable. I mean, you might do good one month, you might not do so good the next month, right? And so it's contingent upon you finding buyers and being able to close the deal, right? And then your buyers list. You got to make sure you maintain that cost. Let's say you get the property under contract, baby. You only got 30 days to get rid of it. So you got to have some buyers ready to go in this market. So we're going to go step by step through the process. So the first part of the process is you got to find somebody that's wanting to sell at a steep discount, right? So you find them, they want to sell at a steep discount. You get them to agree to this purchase agreement, and it's between you and the seller. That's the first contract that you're going to sign. You and the seller. I'm going to give you $250 or $500 earnest money. I'm either going to buy this property from you in 30 days, or I'm going to sell it to somebody else. That's the contract we have. If for some reason that doesn't happen in that 30 days, all I've lost is my earnest money, right? That's what I'm in the game for. So how does it work? How do you find these properties? You got to understand that there's two types of people out there. There's those that need to sell. That means I need to sell right now. I'm hot. I'm moving. Things are going wrong. My mom died. Too much going on. I just need to cash out this thing. I got a lot of equity in it. How much do you offer me, Mr. Ray? And then there's those that just want to sell. I'm just trying to find out how much my house is worth. How much you willing to give me, buddy? Yeah, oh no, that ain't enough. Well, he just want to sell. He really ain't motivated. You looking for people that need to sell, baby. That's how the distress part of this thing works. And so you got to get those leads. And you got to be very good at distinguishing and not spend time with people who just want to play games. You got to figure out these people serious or not. You got to be ready. So you got to have your script ready to talk to them. You got to understand how to negotiate. You got to be good to do that math, because if you go in there and offer too much, baby, you ain't going to make no money. In fact, you might end up losing money. So you got to get that property under contract. Got to make sure before you move all the way forward, got to do your due diligence, baby. Do that title search. Make sure there ain't no liens out there, no tax warrants. I mean, a lot of stuff. And I mean, that can be out there, but you need to put that in the deal. Make sure that's covered when you close the deal. And then you got to be able to prepare inspections or bids, like the end buyer that you're going to be selling these properties to. He's going to know the condition of the property. So you got to show him pictures. You got to show him what the actual, possible rehab cost is for the property, all that good stuff. And then you got to sign it to him, right? Get that deal closed. So who are the sellers? People that are in tax default. This is the area we're really going to concentrate on right here. Before it gets to foreclosure, we want to start trying to buy it in pre-foreclosure, right? People that's going through divorce, somebody a divorce and they just want to get rid of it, right? They're ready to sell. They're motivated. They lost their job. They can't make the payments no more. They need some money, so we can come in. We can provide an opportunity to sell that property for cash. Maybe they're in probate. Maybe they just can't afford to fix the property up. Maybe they had it listed with the MLS and then it went away. They live out of state. Absentee owners are some of the best opportunities that you'll have because they don't even live in the house. And then landlords like me, at one point, maybe want to get out of the business. Maybe we just tired of dealing with it. So these are the people that are selling. Any questions?
I had a question. It's Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, so you said little or no money down. So really is the only money is the earnest money?
Yes,
And who decides that amount?
we do.
Okay. I
You
had
got
another.
to do as least earnest money as you can.
Okay. And
That's the
also
amount of money that you have at risk that you can lose.
that you can lose. Okay.
Yep.
And also the due diligence. Does that include like IRS loans?
Yes.
You're able to search any type of lien that
That is against that property.
Okay. All right. That's it. Thank you.
You're welcome. What else? It's the wholesale game, baby. Y'all know. All right.
Right.
Yes.
Where do you look for liens on a property? Is that through the county assessor?
Yes.
Cause so if you bring up a specific address, you should be able to search and find if there's a lien on the property.
You gotta do some search. It ain't as easy as saying, okay, let me just go. No, you gotta do some digging, and we teach you how to do that.
Okay, okay.
Anything, any lien on the property, we can tell you if it's been filed at the county, we know that it's good.
Oh, okay. All right. The other thing is that I have often received calls in or these 5x7 cards in the mail wanting a company wanting to sell my home. Is that considered maybe a wholesaler?
Yes, it is a wholesaler.
Okay. You see it on television, fix it up. Don't worry about
Yeah.
fixing up your house.
All
Just sell it as it.
Mm-hmm.
Wholesalers. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. What else? Any other questions? All right, let's keep going. So now we got the contract, baby. We got them under contract. Now we got to find us somebody to buy this contract within that 30-day period, right? And so we got to find an investor who has cash and is ready to buy and come to terms with him for a price that's higher than what I just bought it for. I just bought it for 50. I'm gonna need him to buy it for 60 or 70 so I can make that spread in between, right? So I got to find me a buyer. And so who's buying these properties? Well, there's guys out here, private money. There's hard money loans out here. People can get those, but it's got to be cash. You don't have time to go down to the bank and go through the process of trying to get a bank loan. It'll take you too long. The deal will be done. You got to close most of these deals in most of the time 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks, no longer than 30 days to get these deals closed. So if there's an issue on the title, that there's a cloud on the title, yeah, well, you can extend it out a little bit, to get that cleared up. But for the most part, there shouldn't be anything that would take you say, well, I need to go get money over here. No, you got to already have cash. Those are the buyers that I'm looking for. Any questions? So we got to have people that's got cash money, baby. We ain't getting no loans right here. It's all cash. Where you find them at?
Hey, Ray,
Yeah, go ahead.
what's the range on that? You talking about houses in what range? You talked about buying 100,000 for financing, but when you're
Right.
talking about wholesale, are you talking in that $5, $10, $15,000 house?
No,
I mean,
No, me
What,
and
more than that?
yeah, we're talking up to 600,000.
Are
Because
you
all
talking cash?
we're trying to do is buy for 500,000 and sell it for 600,000.
Are you talking about doing cash transactions?
Yes. Because I'm not buying it though, James. I'm only got interest in the property. The guy that's gonna have the money is the end buyer that I'm gonna sell it to. I'm gonna buy it for 500,000. I'm gonna sell it to him for 600,000, and I'm gonna take everything in between.
Okay, I'm learning something because I didn't see somebody. Now listen, I didn't see somebody walking around with 600,000 to pay cash on anything.
No, that ain't that. What the investor that I'm gonna sell it to, he's gonna have
Uh-huh.
it.
Oh,
He'll
is
have
that right?
it. Yeah, he'll have it.
All right, all right. I'm learning.
All right. Stay on board, baby. We going somewhere. Oh, but you're not in the premier. You just in the advanced and the foundation. We're gonna catch you next time.
Am I in the right place, man?
Yeah, you are. I'm saying
Okay.
on Thursdays is when we're doing the wholesale though, but I am teaching you today how to go ahead. Go ahead, house stud. What you got?
All right, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
All right. So on deals like that, like because we're talking about 600,000, yeah. So on an investor standpoint, like some of these guys will already have a few $100,000, and then they go to a private lender. And with these private lenders, of course, they're going to be making their money with interest. So there is a lot of different companies, different investors, personal investors who are willing to spend that money. I know. Let's see, got it in November, finally closed on December. I did a home for $300,000. And I'm like, well, who in the world is going to have that? But took a chance, got it under contract, assigned it. And then it was like 35 days later, closed on a $300,000 house. That was out in the Plaza District. So that's why, like, when he's talking about, these locations and so on and so forth, that's why it is important to know your money, know what the ARV is. This was initially ARV, this home was going to be like a $730,000 home when it came down to it. So he buys it for 300, maybe puts another 200 in. He's all in at 5. Maybe he says 250. He's all in at 550. And at that point, now he's going to be making about $150,000, $200,000, depends on what he sells it at. So again, the profit margin is just substantial to what he's initially putting in. Of course, he's getting all that money back on top of that. So yes, there are investors out there who are willing to put that kind of money in. And now we're just talking on a single family homes or things like that. There are so many other different margins, or not margins, but different areas of wholesaling. There is multifamily, there's townhomes, there's condos, multifamily from 2 to 5, from 5 plus. The wholesaling game is not just single family. I know some personal people who are out there, investors, and of course wholesalers who deal with apartment complexes, who've done hotels, so on and so forth. So there is a market out there. You just got to find it. And then initially, that's what we're going to be teaching Thursday in our classes. So.
Good deal. Good deal. And James, for the most part, for me, if I didn't really know what I was doing, I'd stay with properties between 80 and 200,000, right? That way, I can probably play in there a little bit, make a few $1,000s here and there. But I got the big guns with me now. We're going up to 600,000, baby. Any other questions? So, here's places you can get that money, baby. All right, let's keep going. Again, there's buyers out there everywhere, right? There's investors. You just got to be where they are, right? You can go and search and see in certain areas of the town where people are flipping houses. Those guys is flipping houses. Those are cash buyers. They're buying those properties for cash. And so, you just find out where these guys hang out at online or otherwise, and you start getting in those little networks, and you find out like guys like me, they know guys like me because I got cash, baby. I'm ready to go. Bring me a good deal. Hey, I get all kind of stuff in the mail. My phone's always ringing. I ain't selling a thing, baby. You can keep knocking on my door. Now I'll buy if you bring me a good deal. But buyers are everywhere, baby. And so now you got the buyer. Now you're going to take and you're going to assign that agreement that you signed with the seller. You're going to assign that to an investor who's going to give you a deposit, a nice bigger deposit than what you got on yours. In fact, I want at least $2,000 to $3,000 deposit from a buyer, because I want to make sure he comes to the close, and I want to make sure I got some money. So if he don't close, guess what? I got this money here, and I'll just pay old girl back over there. I ain't lost no money. So it's going to go in and make sure that I can get this deal done. So when I do that, I got to know what the numbers are, though, right? I got to know what I'm doing as far as making sure that I only make the maximum allowable offer on that property. And it all starts with the ARV, baby. The ARV is called the after repair value, and that's the amount of money that someone is willing to pay for that property when it's totally repaired. You know, some people say that's the appraised value, that's the market value, that's what homes in that area are selling for. That's all ARV, baby. And so from that number, you gotta, for flippers and buy and hold guys like me, we like to start at 70% of whatever the value of that ARV is, right? And then we're going to want to know how much is it going to cost us to fix it up, because I'm going to need to subtract that. And then how much profit is this wholesaler kind of make? We got to subtract that out, right? And then that will give us what I call my maximum allowable offer. It is the after repair value times 70%, negative repair costs, and negative the wholesaler fee. Okay? Questions on that? Clear as mud. Okay, so let's look at the math for a flipper. The guy's a flipper, and he's my end buyer, right? I got this house over here. Now I want to give it to one of these flippers because he's got cash and he got enough money to go get it fixed up, right? So let's assume that I got a property and I got it under contract, but I know at the end of the day it's going to be worth $100,000. So the flipper has got to make some money. He's in this game to make money. So I got to figure out he said, I like to make $10,000 to $20,000. Okay, so I'm going to put his little fee in there. And then how much it costs to get it repaired. I got to put that in there because he's got to pay that also. So I'm going to give a deduct for that. And then I got to put my little fee in there, right? I want to get paid on that. So you got $60,000 that's going to come off of that. And that's going to say the maximum allowable offer I can make on this property is $40,000. Because I got to pay the wholesaler, and then the flipper's got to have a profit and repair costs. Any questions? Clear as mud? All right. For buy and hold investors, it's pretty much the same, 70%. The only thing they're going to have is the repair costs, because they're not going to sell it, so they don't need any profit in there. They just want to make sure they got 30% in the equity, right? Because we're going to bird, baby. I'm going to teach y'all the bird strategy. In this case, though, the maximum allowable offer is going to be $30,000. Any questions? That's for the buy and hold guys. So you're selling to guys that buy and hold, and you're selling to guys that are flippers. All right, those are two of the basic people that you're going to be selling. And some guys do both, right? Girls too. Girls rule, by the way. The ladies are trying to take over the business, guys. So I'm gonna need y'all to step it up, because these ladies are not playing, baby. They about making that paper. Y'all better get busy with them. And so then you got to close the deal, baby. And so now everybody comes together. The seller gets his money at the close, and then I get my money at the close, and the buyer, the end investor, he gets his house at the close, right? Quick word about assignment. You're only assigning your rights in the property. You don't own the property. Don't forget that. You're just assigning your right to buy the property to another buyer, okay? And a lot of properties you can't put that language in the contracts in property. In HUD properties, you can't do that. Bank-owned properties, any properties on the MLS, we won't be looking at no properties on the MLS, right? And most REO properties have a 90-day period where they can't be resold anyway. So we need to sell it in 30 days. It's going to be 90 days on them. So we only can deal with people that own the house, individuals. We don't want corporations. We want individuals that own the house. Only those are the ones that we want to assign. Any questions? All right. A word about the assignment. The first contract that you make with the seller. And we'll show you how these contracts are made up, but you got to have in there next to the buyer's name, that be my name, I got to have and or assigns. That means I can do it or I can assign it to somebody to do it after my name, right? That means I got the right to assign that to somebody else. That's very important. Buyer beware. The wholesaler isn't selling you the property. He's just selling his interest in the property. There's a big difference. It's just equitable interest. I have a contract that says I have a right to buy it, but I'm going to use my right to buy it to sell it to somebody else. The guy over here shouldn't care. He's going to get his money. The lady's going to get her money because they're selling me the property at $50,000. I'm just selling to this guy for 60. We'll show you a closing statement, but I don't have one up. Questions? Questions on anything that we've talked about today? I know I went through a lot, but that's why it's very important that you look at the videos before we ever get here, right? And so what videos are we supposed to be looking at next week? Let's go back. Oh, I know. I was going, sorry. Let's stop the share. All right, so everybody, you can turn your cameras on if you want. Let everybody see you. Who's out there today? We about ready to end this thing. Let me see who's out there. There's a stud, man. Who else is out there today? I see you, Tori, Darren. Come on, Paul. Who else is out there? Well, we have 26, 27 of y'all in the house today. That's a good turnout. Y'all trying to learn. Look at you, Calvin. I see you, Sheen, Michelle. Yeah, we getting it in, baby. One of these days, I'm going to take the opportunity and I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about where you are on this real estate journey. I'll give you a heads up. That way you can brush your teeth, comb your hair, and be ready because I'm putting you on, baby. You're going to be live. All right, everybody, I got to go. I got to go get me something to eat. For those of you all that's in the premium, we're going to see you on Thursday. For those of you all for next week, we'll see you back next Monday. God bless you. I love you.
Before you leave, Mr.
Right.
Ray, you was going to tell us the videos to watch for next week.
Oh,